What's going on, motorsports fans? This is Jared here with the Bearded Garagistas. Always with me is my brother Brett.
How you doing?
And today we have some...
Back on camera.
Hopefully. Today we have, right. If this all works out, the new setup. We got the new setup running. So if you're seeing this right now, it's new.
If it didn't,
yeah,
we fucked up.
Yeah. We're going to go over Le Mans. We're going to go over some Indycar predictions. We're going to go over the huge news in NASCAR and some obviously some Formula One stuff that has come out in the off week pretty much. So we're going to hear that right after our sponsors. King Buddha CBD, high performance hemp, providing high quality THC free products. Find more information at kingbuddhacbd.com. The International Roll Racing Association. The International Roll Racing Association, IRRA, is the first ever sanctioning body for the sport of roll racing. Become a professional race driver at raceirra.com. All right, so do you want to start with Le Mans since that was like the... What are you laughing at already?
Nothing, man.
We didn't even start yet.
Don't worry about it.
All right, let's...
It's just pure craziness going on up here.
That I'm not surprised in the least. All right, so let's start with Le Mans. As we know, if you watched Le Mans was another Toyota romp, pretty much.
24 hours of boringness.
All right, let's back it up a little bit. Toyota's pretty much been dominant. The reason why they've been dominant in LMP1, which is the top class in Le Mans, is because they have the best setup. They have a turbo hybrid engine, all-wheel drive, and there is nobody, and they're also factory-backed team, Toyota, and there's nobody who's going to compete with them.
Why?
What do you mean, why?
Because they're the only manufacturer in LMP1.
Yes. The other one is, the only other one that ever really comes close, or it seems to come close, is Rebellion.
I love Rebellion.
Which I'm a big fan because they could do the LMP2 like everybody else, but instead they're punching above their weight. They're going after Toyota, and I like that. I really wish they can get somebody on board to help them and maybe move that program forward. But if you look at Rebellion, it's a naturally aspirated engine, rear-wheel drive. It's just not on the same level as the Toyota. And the question, is like, can anyone beat Toyota, or are they going to be dominant until another manufacturer gets in with them?
Apparently, I mean, in my opinion, one of the bad things about doing a podcast or any commentary, post-commentary about Le Mans is if you're interested and you watched it, you just had 24 hours of them constantly talking pretty much a lot of the times about the same things over and over again. So, like, it's not like you're going to bring anything new to the table to people that have been watching. But I don't know if you heard this, but Alpine, who was racing in LMP2, and next year is going to be taking over Renault's spot, just a name change, same team, but it's going to be Alpine. But next Le Mans 2021, Alpine is going to be racing an LMP1, and how they're doing that is they're buying the Rebellion cars.
Really?
Yep. So next year, Rebellion's not going to be racing LMP1. I think they're going to try for Hypercar, if my understanding is correct. But the Rebellion cars that race this year are going to be racing next year, just not as Rebellions. They're going to be racing as Alpines.
Yeah, we have to go over, and I got to do some research on the Hypercar class that's supposedly coming up for next year, because that's something that we got to definitely look into. LMP2 went from boring to beast, in my opinion. The last couple of years, if you watched any WEC racing, LMP2 was usually never really a thing. It was there, but no one ever really talked about it. But I feel like
I feel the same way about IMSA, though.
Yeah, but IMSA's second class underneath
LMP2.
Is boring, or they don't really talk about it. But I feel like LMP1 this year was so spread out, and they all knew that Toyota was pretty much going to win. The only worry for Toyota was when they had their issues and Rebellion kind of crept up, but they still never even lost a lead, based on each car. But yeah, LMP2 was the kind of the apple of the eye of Le Mans this year. What really upset me was the no fans. So after Le Mans was over, you didn't get to see all the confetti and the fans running around. I mean, you saw the confetti, but all the fans running around, you didn't get to see any of that, which really upset me. We do have to talk about our women.
But before we get there, LMP2 is the only thing that saved this race, in my opinion.
You think so?
Yeah. I mean, between...
What about the storyline of the I feel like Porsche's that like cousin that gets called to the wedding like 2 weeks before to be a groom, and he can't fit into the tux. And he's like 40 kilos overweight and shows up to the greatest race in the world and has 0 horsepower to keep up with anybody else.
That's only partially their fault. I mean, their strategy.
They didn't sandbag enough like Aston Martin.
Right.
Yeah, I said it.
But that's a fine line, because if you over sandbag, you get penalized even more.
That's why it's a game, and that's why Aston Martin played the game perfectly. They sandbagged just enough to not show their cards. They were still on par with everybody, but they had an extra like 30 horsepower in the bank.
Before we get back to the women in motorsports at Le Mans, I just want to say one more thing about LMP1, and that is, if Toyota is bringing 2 cars to Le Mans, they better win. They better finish first and second. I'm sorry. First and third as a hybrid.
They did finish first and second.
No, Rebellion got second.
Oh, did they?
They finished first and third.
I lied. I thought they kept the lead the whole time. I was wrong. I apologize. I stand corrected.
So, yeah, I don't know what happened in the middle of the night. I know the number set. Anyway, in my opinion, Toyota manufacture hybrid car, 4-wheel drive against a Rebellion that's naturally aspirated, rear-wheel drive. Yes, balance of power brought them closer, but Toyota should be finishing 1-2. If they ran 3 cars, I would say 1-2, maybe 1 drops out. But if they have their whole team focusing on 2 cars, they should be 1-2.
Oh, you can't bring up failures, bro.
I think this year, I think 1-3 is a failure for them.
Jesus, that's brutal. You're brutal. I would hate you fit in right with the Japanese, though. I'm not gonna lie to you.
It is. I'm sorry.
Anything but perfection is not good.
It's not about perfection. They have a totally different car. They have a huge manufacturer, a huge backing. They're only focusing on 2 cars. They're not divided into having to worry about 3 cars.
It's one of the most difficult races in the world for a reason. It's 24 hours of straight running. There is no way that you can, just expect that everything is going to run perfectly to plan.
A privateer team should not split them in quali and should not split them on the podium. I'm sorry, they shouldn't.
All right, fair enough.
Okay.
Brett runs a tight ship. If Brett's ever a motorsports owner, everybody got to look out. Can we get to? All right. Let's just recap, though. Porsche was 40 kilos overweight. Aston Martin had a ridiculous horsepower, but Ferrari put up a really good fight. Aston Martin won in GT Pro and GT Am. LMP2 was taken by United Autosports, which also has a very special name attached to it in
Zach Brown.
Zach Brown from McLaren. And LMP1 was obviously won by Toyota. The big thing was the 2 female teams. One was Richard Mille Racing. LMP2. They finished 9th in class. I thought that was a really good showing. Top 10 in that class. LMP2 had 18 cars, I believe. So they finished top 50%.
No,
yeah.
24.
24?
24
Sorry.
cars.
LMP2 had 24 cars, and they finished 9th in class. I really wanted a top 5 finish for either team. I just wanted to be like, yo, look at that, top 5 for the women.
It's still extremely consistent and good, because the other female team was Ironside.
Iron Lynx. It was it was Iron Lynx, but the female version. I can't remember what they called
Dames.
it. No.
Yeah.
That's what they called it?
It complicated. But yeah, I think
I'm not sure what the team name is, but we'll let you know later on.
And they finished 9th in class as well in GTM.
And they were running in a Ferrari? I can't remember what car they were running. I believe it was
I'm pretty sure it's a Ferrari.
But yeah, they did really well as well. Mm-hmm. 9th in class. Again, I wanted a top 5 finish from one of the female teams. But I believe that if they keep digging away, I believe that they'll get there. They put together the right women for the Richard Mille Racing. They had very competitive ladies, and I really feel like they're going to do well in the future. They just got to keep kicking away at it, keep chopping down the tree, so to speak. Let's move on to, are you comfortable? Always got to make sure.
So, are we done? Are you proposing leaving?
I'm proposing just doing a quick Indycar so we can move on to the bigger news here.
Before I leave Le Mans, I want to say I'm hopeful that in the new hypercar class, which Peugeot's going to be competing in over the next few years, more and more teams are going to be coming at. But
Peugeot said they will be a part of it. They've come out with a car. However, Peugeot has come out with a car before and said, yeah, we're going to be in it. And then
my dream is
never happened.
Like, I don't think however long LMP1 would have stayed the top class, I don't think Ferrari would have ever competed in it. However, a hypercar kind of top class, I hope Ferrari joins it.
So you're hoping that hypercar brings more manufacturers to the
There's
top
already
class.
like 30 manufacturers interested.
Really?
Yeah, like an insane number. And over the next like 5 to 8 years, different manufacturers are going to be involved, not involved. I mean, Aston Martin also was already kind of involved with the Valkyrie and then backed off. They're hoping that they come back to the table. But I'm hoping that Ferrari tries in the next few years, because if they do and they win, it'll be the first time that they win overall since 1965, right before Ford
started whooping that ass.
Yeah. Like, part of me doesn't want them because I love the
Do you think we can get an American manufacturer in it?
No. I love the fact that once Ford beat Ferrari, they never won at Le Mans again. Like, I love that fact, but I also would love to see them getting into hypercar.
I want to see more, like you said, more constructors into Le Mans.
I also want to see cars at Le Mans that look like cars. I don't want to see
spaceships.
Yeah, I want to see cars.
Fair enough. I understand that. Let's do a quick. Do you think that? Well, this is our little blurb of IndyCar. Do you think that Scott Dixon is going to finish it off, or do you think he's going to get caught?
No, I think he'll finish it.
You think he's going to finish it?
I think he has way too much experience to, like, he'll keep pushing because he knows that Joseph Newgarden will keep pushing and keep coming after him. So I know he's going to push hard just like he did at Mid-Ohio. However, he's so smart and so experienced that he knows he's not going to gamble the championship. If he needs to let a car go by, he's going to let that car go by. He's not going to race everybody.
Well, what happens if it's out of his control? Like, you look at Fernando Alonso in 2012 when he got torpedoed by Grosjean and Hamilton, and all he had to do was finish in the top 8, and he probably would have won the championship over Vettel that year.
Do you see that with all the? I mean, I don't know how many races they have left. I know it's not too many, but I just don't see Chip Ganassi going and messing up all those races. And then the last race at St. Pete is double points, I'm pretty sure. So, I mean, yeah, I just don't see it. I don't see him being caught. He started strong, which is not usual for him over the last, few years. We pointed that out before. It's the best start he's had since like 2014, something like that. So, I mean, he earned it. He came out of the COVID and just
blitzed everybody. What's funny is all the young guys are probably doing sim racing, and he wasn't even doing any sim racing. He just walks onto the track. He's like, yeah,
yep.
Hold my beer. Let's go on to, that was our little blurb about IndyCar. So we don't really have much about IndyCar this night. We'll do Formula One first, and then we'll save the NASCAR news for last, because most people probably already know what the NASCAR news is. And we'll weigh in a little bit on what we think about it. Formula One, I got really two things that happened that I want to talk about. The one that I was really shocked at, and not really shocked, because does Eddie Jordan really shock anybody anymore with the stuff that comes out of that guy's mouth?
If he says something sane, it shocks people.
So he claims, and he would like to see Hamilton switch teams from Mercedes in 2021 and go to Red Bull and race next to Max Verstappen. He goes on to explain, and I'm definitely paraphrasing here, and I might not have it all right, but he kind of glazes over the idea that it would be a really good race. I feel like it would be really competitive. It would make Red Bull really competitive, and we would get to see two of the best go at it.
Yep.
But as he talks more and more about it, and as you start to read his quotes and what he's thinking, he really sounds like he is saying that Max Verstappen will beat Lewis Hamilton because he's a better driver.
He's not alone.
And I agree with you. I don't think he is alone. I still don't think that Lewis Hamilton is clearly the best driver on the grid. I do believe that there's a few that would definitely go at him with the same equipment. The problem that I see is at least Mercedes can kind of field two cars that are on the same platform.
Yeah.
Red Bull doesn't seem to be able to consistently get two cars that are equal to each other.
Mercedes is dumping a lot of money into F1 every year, though. I mean, if you look at the numbers, it's insane how much money Mercedes puts into F1.
I mean, it's paying off. Where's the rest of the teams doing the same thing? I mean, Ferrari spends probably more money than Mercedes, and they can't get out of their own goddamn way.
It's just efficiency.
Do you think that Max Verstappen would beat Lewis Hamilton? I think he would. I think they would. I think it would be a pretty good war, but I think it would be stupid for Hamilton to switch teams and go to something like Red Bull, because like the big rumor was that Hamilton was thinking about going to Ferrari, which they're already locked up now, and I mean that would be career suicide at this point.
Yeah, right. He dodged that bullet.
Right, with how many years he's got left in Formula One, which is, don't get me wrong, he can keep racing if he pulls a Kimi Räikkönen, but I feel like with all his other endeavors, with the Formula E possibility, with his extreme electric sports team, I think he's not going to be in the sport that much longer. But you never know.
He wants the record, and once he gets it, I would say, going back to Max versus Lewis, if Lewis joined Red Bull, I think Max would get him. If Max joined Mercedes, I would think that it would take at least 1 year for Max to pit Lewis. Like, coming into that team and getting used to it and figuring out how the car works, I don't think Max could go to Mercedes and then boom, instantly beat Lewis in a team that he's been established in. However, if it were to go the other way around, right, I think that Max would have a fighting chance that first year.
I see where you're going with that. He'd have to learn the car, learn the team, get used to it in that car.
Exactly.
And Lewis Hamilton's already been there for so long, it's kind of second nature to him right now. I see where you're going with that. That makes good sense. The other thing that was weighing on my
Eddie,
mind.
that's how you do it.
There you go, Eddie. Yeah. The other thing that weighs on my mind is Fernando Alonso. He is now in the Renault. Sorry, there was a noise going on outside. It kind of scared me. I didn't know what that was.
I still don't know what it was.
It was somebody bringing up the garbage pails. Fernando Alonso is back in not the paddock, but he's in the Renault building. He's in the sim. He's talking with the team and things like that. And what I thought was, do you think that they're going to try to use anything that Fernando Alonso now brings up in conversations and brings up in team meetings to make the current season any better? Or do you think at this point, the season's halfway over, they've gotten to a point where they're like, you know what, let's ride this bad boy out, wait till Fernando's ready?
No, I mean, once he's in that sim, I mean, he's going to be driving this year's car because next year's car is basically identical, right? He's going to have feedback. The only thing is that feedback can only go so far car-wise because he's not in the actual car. He's in a sim. He doesn't get the feeling. He can drive it in the sim, but he's not feeling it in his ass. He's not feeling it in his fingertips.
Well, I mean,
there's only so much feedback he can give. However, in the establishment, how things are run, being part of a championship-winning Renault team, going to McLaren, being part of Ferrari, going back to McLaren again, and now Renault, he has seen different kinds of teams and how they operate. From a team perspective, I guarantee you, I mean, have you ever known Fernando Alonso to keep his mouth shut when he has an opinion?
No, of course not. What I think is really funny, though, is I was watching something today that referenced back to the time when they had Pastor Maldonado, Romain Grosjean, and Cyril Abiteboul's first year at Renault was all together, I believe. Is that true? Or did I read something that was messed up? Because when I read it, I was like, could you imagine having that team?
I don't think.
I'm surprised they finished a race the entire year.
That's insane. If that's true, that's insane.
If that's true. All right, let's get into NASCAR. And you think we're going to talk about the big topic, and we're not. We are going to do it after. I'm lying. We're going to do it in a minute. I wanted to bring up first what I really wanted to bring up before the whole huge NASCAR news broke, and that was now we have Harvick with 9 wins. And he doesn't seem to be slowing down. He's actually, as the playoffs got closer, he got stronger and started racking up wins like crazy. And Denny Hamlin, who has definitely been in the news recently, has 6 wins. However, he seems to be struggling at the end of the year again.
He's your NASCAR dude.
He is my NASCAR dude. I'm a Denny Hamlin fan. I've always been. And I don't know why. It's just I met him one time and he was a cool dude. So we kind of, I stuck with the team. But my thing is, that's an issue to me because he's the 3rd winningest NASCAR driver with no championship. There's like 2 people above him. I can't remember. I took a picture of it. I should have put it in my notes. But he's like number 3 on the list. He has all these wins and no championships. And it seems like every year he gets to the end of the year and he just kind of no more gas in the tank.
It, man. I mean, we talk all the time in F1 and IndyCar. The way you win a championship is with consistency. You have to be on your game throughout the entire season. And I just think he's shown that he can't do that.
He's like the Atlanta Falcons. He's the Atlanta Falcons of the NFL.
He can
11-2, 11 and what? 11-4, 11-4 in the regular season or some garbage like that. They get to the playoffs and they're out in the first round. He's killing me, man. I really want him to win one.
I mean, he just can't keep it. He's like a really, really bright, shining star. He's like can be so on, so bright, be so good, and then he just fades away quick.
Horrible. I do have one side note question. I know I keep leaving that cliffhanger in NASCAR. My side note question was, what was the most difficult motorsport to win back-to-back races and back-to-back championships? Obviously, Formula One is way off the table. It's not even the same realm anymore at this point. 4 championships for Vettel, 6 for Lewis, and just...
I would say back-to-back races, IndyCar, back-to-back championships, Formula E.
Is Formula E an actual motorsport?
Yes, it is.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm a little peeved at Formula E for not allowing us
the repeated championships. You can't like MotoGP's out. I mean, they have so many champions, repeat and whatnot.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to run through. Le Mans maybe, WEC.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking maybe like IMSA. How many times is because Le Mans has been won back to back now from Toyota. So you would think a 24-hour race would be the
Porsche
one that you would pick, but apparently not.
Before that, and then Porsche
Ford,
before that. Yeah.
Porsche 9 years in a row or some garbage.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe IndyCar and Formula E. I mean, Formula E has only had one back-to-back champion. That was John-Eric Verne. And
I think he kind of fell into it, though. He didn't really...
The team has won 3 in a row, though.
I don't know.
So, IndyCar. I'm back to IndyCar.
So, there you go. Let's get to the big news. The big news is the Jumpman, Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan and Denny Hamlin got together and decided to start a NASCAR team. And who is going to pilot their I would assume, number 23 car. If they don't get the number 23, I'd be heavily surprised.
Or 45?
Don't even start. I don't want to talk about that. But who would pilot that car is Bubba Wallace. I didn't see it coming. I don't think anybody saw that coming. I'm pretty sure they kept that under hush-hush wraps. But I think it's huge. I think it's really good. I'm excited to see how it goes. I think that's a lot of news for Denny Hamlin to bring out right in the middle of the playoffs that he is apparently bombing. And now he has that extra added pressure and television.
Well, do you think that this is why he's bombing? Is his attention has been too focused on getting this team up and running?
No, and I'll tell you why. I feel like he is there. He is the part of the ownership that is going to help acclimate Michael Jordan to the NASCAR world, shake hands with the right NASCAR people. But if you go back in Michael Jordan's career, you go back in Michael Jordan's life, he has no issues finding sponsorships. It's going to be very easy to get a competitive team up and running for him, in my opinion. With the backing that he had, if everybody doesn't know, Michael Jordan used to run an American Motorcycle Association, AMA. He used to run a team in AMA for motorcycles. They were atrocious, horrible, never won a race. However, money was never the issue. The sponsors came. As soon as he says, hey, I got a team going on, sponsors flock to this guy. And I mean, he's a walking moneymaker, so why wouldn't you? You say Michael Jordan in NASCAR, and I'm pretty sure people are going to come running with the money handed out of their pockets, just kind of throwing it at them. So
I have a bigger question for you.
What's your bigger question?
Would Bubba Wallace have left Petty if it wasn't for Michael Jordan?
I think Bubba Wallace had no other choice. I think Petty was done with Bubba Wallace.
Why?
I think it was at a point where Petty was, don't get me wrong, I think the team is good. I think they did well, but I didn't see them going any further than what they were already in.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what we talked about last time was when I think of Bubba Wallace, and I think of a lot of drivers like this, when I think of great drivers, it's when you're taking a car and you're bringing it up to where it doesn't belong. And I just never see Bubba Wallace doing that.
Well, I don't. It's not only the Bubba Wallace thing. I feel like if you've been in a contract for a driver in a sports team is almost like a relationship, and if you've been in that relationship for years and you've never moved any forward, it's kind of like if you're dating the same girl for 6 years and you never ask her to marry you, eventually it's like shit'll get off the pot. You know what I'm saying? If you're not gonna move up in the, what are you looking at me like that for?
No, it's a good analogy.
It's a good analogy. If you're not moving up in the ranks, it's just the way it is. They're gonna kind of fall away. So I feel like every once in a while, if you don't see any progress, if you don't see any change, you got to change some things up. And I'm sure they changed some things behind the scenes, but I'm also sure that they're going to go ahead and change that driver. So I feel like they would have probably been already done with the driver anyway. But now I feel like this is a really good chance for Bubba Wallace. The only downside to all this is if Jordan and Denny Hamlin find a bunch of sponsors and they throw a bunch of money into this car, and this car seems to be a competitive car and Bubba Wallace can't get it to the front, it's going to hurt Bubba Wallace. And vice versa. If Bubba Wallace can't get it to the front and it is a competitive car, that gives now Michael Jordan and Denny Hamlin a very difficult decision on, do we get rid of Bubba Wallace? Because if they get rid of Bubba Wallace, I don't know if he finds another seat. You know what I'm saying? Like this is his step forward, in my opinion. So this is a make or break for a lot of things going on here, from what I think. I mean, I really feel like in 93 appearances, Jordan Motorsports did not win a single race in on the motorcycles. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't understand. Jordan apparently has had a lot of interest in racing, in NASCAR. He said NASCAR is skillful. He grew up in NASCAR, so he's always been a big race fan. But I don't know why he was really big into motorcycles for so long. He said that teammates of his had motorcycles when he was on the Bulls, but he wasn't allowed to do it because of contracts. And as soon as he got out, he started riding again, and that kind of fueled his passion to get into motorsports. But if you look at it, like, his instinct was always to go to the motorcycles. And yes, he's always had a pull to motorsports, but I'm really interested to see how this evolves. Did he learn from his time in motorcycle racing as a team owner to now make the NASCAR team competitive? I know he's got Denny Hamlin, who is as we just said, a very winning driver, to get him to the front of the grid. Let's just hope that he continues to bring it that way. I
have absolutely nothing really to say on the matter. I'm a type of person that likes to analyze stuff, speculate when I have concrete information to speculate on. Yes, there's 3 prominent individuals here, successful in things that they have done. They have, to my knowledge, never worked together ever at all. I will reserve my judgment until I actually see something about this team.
Yeah, I mean,
I got nothing.
I agree with you. I mean, I'm just excited. I kind of look at it like this. Like I've heard what Michael Jordan has said in the past about NASCAR. He always said that they were skillful, but that it wasn't. I mean, I could read you. You good?
Well,
I could read this freaking quote that he really wrote. He says, "But the thing about motorcycles is the instinct, the reaction. You see the riders working the bike. It takes a lot of skill to be in position on the bike. to be able to downshift and upshift and all that stuff, which is a little bit different than NASCAR. NASCAR is always left-hand turns and circles the whole time. There's an art to do what they do. I'm not diminishing that. I just felt that coming from a sport where it's a reaction sport, to see how they react much quicker. Their decision-making has to be really quick. I was intrigued by that. I wonder what he thinks after being an owner in NASCAR. I wonder what he would say about his quote right here.
Well, I would say more, you were asking before about how his love for motorcycles got him to NASCAR. What popped in my head and why I made that noise before was, is this NASCAR going to Jordan saying, we want diversity in NASCAR? Who can we get that's a black person in America that's interested in motorsport? And they go. It's not Jordan coming to NASCAR. It's NASCAR going to Jordan.
Well, the big thing in sports,
I think that's what it is.
It could be.
And then let's get Bubba Wallace, the only black driver on the field currently, to head the team. I'm telling you, this is a diversity play, and I'm not hating on it. I love it,
yeah.
but I just think that's how that.
Well, you got to look at it this way, right? So in most in not motorsports, but in most sports in America in general, you get very little owners are black. It's just the way it is. I feel like the number has been growing recently, but for some reason, even if they have a lot of money, they're not buying into that, and they're not getting into the sports and into the motorsports. I feel like slowly they are. And I feel like NASCAR, with everything that's been happening recently and everything that has happened in NASCAR, and everybody kind of has pitched NASCAR as a redneck sport. I feel like NASCAR needs to get out from underneath that stigma. So what you say is NASCAR going to Jordan definitely is, it definitely holds water. But I do know that Jordan has had interest for a long time.
Hasn't. Yeah.
And the support that NASCAR has thrown behind Bubba Wallace, and rightfully so, I feel like is going to do wonderful things for not just the sport of NASCAR, but in business owners in general that are going to own major sports teams. Hopefully it raises the interest. Hopefully we get more of them. And I really hope that this actually turns out to be a successful campaign. You never want to see a team buy into something and fail. Right now we have something like look at Haas. Haas came in, they had 2 pretty good seasons, and then they start to hit the wall, and now they're really trying to play catch up. You hate to see that. So in this scenario, I would love to see, this Jordan, I don't even know what they're calling it right now, but this race team, I would love to see them come in, take it by storm, start, finishing in the top 10 right away and stay there, because that's going to give rise and give momentum and kind of push to new teams doing the same thing.
I want to see a slow, steady growth. I don't want to see a team that's going to come in strong right away. I'll be happy if they do and if they stay up there. But I've just seen so many times teams come in, they vie, for top 10s and then fall away. Whereas the teams that come in and slowly build stay in the top 10.
I could see that. But Mercedes.
They were terrible when they first got in.
Well, they had 2 seasons they were all right, but then they were just straight to the top and they stayed there.
They got in 2010. They didn't win championships until the change of regulations in 2014. They floundered for 3 years.
Yeah, you're right.
All right. So
I hate when he's right, by the way.
And they took over a team in 2009 that was a champion. Yes, extremely underdeveloped. And Mercedes thought that they were getting, a championship car, and it wasn't. But
think about it this way: do you think that if Jordan and Hamlin come in and Bubba Wallace come in and they flounder, how long do you think it would take before they pull out?
I don't know. I don't want I don't want to speculate.
Speculating is all part of the job. God damn it!
What I do want to say is, I'm loving what's going on in motorsports right now. We got female drivers all over the place. We got,
diversity.
African Americans. There's diversity around the world. Black drivers in F1. It's great to see. And, they may not all be Lewis Hamiltons where they're winning championships, but what I get really excited about is the next generation. Those generations that are seeing the minorities more representative in motorsports both in broadcasting, in racing, in
Engineering.
team management, engineering, right? Seeing this and then taking, when they grow up, they'll be more involved. And maybe those will be more worldwide champions, not just Lewis Hamilton. I cannot emphasize enough how excited I am about that.
Yeah, the whole goal is to become more competitive. So by adding in, all this new things, these, whether it be gender, whether it be race, whether it be jobs, whether it be different type of sports. Now we have Formula E and all that stuff, and I bash on Formula E like crazy, but it's still good for motorsport. All these things are going to do nothing but make motorsport bigger, better, gain more attention for it, and these things are great, and I really can't wait to see where it goes. I wish the Jordan-Hamlin connection with Bubba Wallace driving, I wish them luck.
Oh yeah.
I can already put them above Busch. I already like the team better than I like Busch. You know what I'm saying? I mean, just
not saying much.
I already like the team better than I like Kyle Busch. I'm just saying.
Really
just throwing it out there.
much.
They're already above Kyle Busch. They could literally come out in a hot pink car and just the ugliest livery paint scheme.
They could finish last every single lap.
Not even finish. They might not. They could not even make
Just
it out
wreck.
of the pit lane.
Just wreck everybody in the formation lap.
Bro, you take out Kyle Busch. If you take out Kyle Busch, I'm just fan for life. Fan for life. But yeah, so yeah,
Brutal.
I almost started liking when Joey Logano and Kyle Busch were going at it. It was kind of like, yo, I don't know who I hate more, but I'm just I'm just saying. But yeah, no. So that's the big news right now. That's the big news in motorsports. I can't really wait to see where this is going. Did they say it was coming in 2021? I believe they did. I believe next year they're going to have a full team up and running from scratch in less than a year.
Listen, there's been so much going on behind the scenes that's been distracting Denny Hamlin and why he's not going to win the championship.
Could you imagine having Denny Hamlin, Michael Jordan all sitting in their house, like doing nothing? You imagine Michael Jordan sitting in his house and being quarantined? That dude's probably been scamming and just scheming ways to shake up the world and make some more money for the Jordan brand. Think about it. That dude don't stop. He makes money like hand over fist. It's not even funny.
I don't know. It's just the way you say scheming. I don't know.
You have to scheme to make money. Yeah, it's the same shit. It's entrepreneurship, scamming. It's the only difference is it's like banks and loan sharks. One is legal, one is illegal. Same, simple. You know what I'm saying? It's all the same shit.
Okay.
All right. We need to thank you guys that was a really big breath. We need to thank you guys for joining us, for giving us plays. We've gotten really good feedback on our motorsports podcast recently with our motorsports shows. We do have an interview this week lined up with Taxi Garage. You may have seen them on 9gag. They're actually got those little motorized carts that they go flying around in.
Getting us in trouble, too.
Getting us in trouble a little bit, you guys from Taxi Garage. But, yeah. Really want to appreciate you guys for joining in, giving us the feedback that you like and where the show's going. Like, subscribe, comment.
Hey, man.
Talk to us. We're always here to bullshit about motorsports. So if you got something to add to motorsports, I don't care if it's a pickup truck exploding on a dyno. You caught that? You caught that?
Yeah.
I know you caught that.
Yeah. But what was great is one of our listeners, was chatting with us during the Mugello race. So that was awesome, too.
Yeah. So we really appreciate it. What are we on Instagram? beardedgaragistas. On Twitter, we are beardedgaragistas. beardedgaragistas.com is always up and running. We actually have started putting Apex Motorsports photography photos up on the website under the gallery page. And again, like, subscribe, let us know what you think, comment, connect with us. We're always down to talk motorsports, and we will see you guys soon. Peace.